What's up, guys? You're on the Rick Ginn YouTube channel. We're talking about why 2025 is really the best time to start your wholesaling career, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of you guys, man, 2025 has changed so much. And I'm going to emphasize on some key words on this, especially the word start, because a lot of you guys are just talking about it and you're contemplating, you're trying to get your timing perfect. Dude, we're going to rip this off today. And I'm going to, if I hear one more person say, I'm waiting for this and I'm waiting for that, I'm going to take this microphone and I'm just going to start. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you how I got started. And I'm going to tell you what you need to be doing and the things you need to watch out for if you're saying get ready to get started, because to me, that is the worst way to do it. My name is Rick Ginn. I've been wholesaling for 23 years. So there's two ways to connect with me. Number one, put your information in the comments. Let people know where you are, make a friend, find a JV partner, and call anyone out who's being an idiot, which I always get one or two, but I can't control them. But they're very easy to identify with their spamming comments and stuff like that. Just give me a holler and we'll give them the old shout out. So without further, the second way is I'm going to put a link in here right now. If you guys want to jump on at the end, we got some time. And you want to take advantage, because a lot of what I'm going to say today will put some of you on the spot. We'll see if you want to do something about it. So there is a link in the comments under Rick Ginn. It is for a mastermind if you want to do it one-on-one. So if you want to solve something and you want to make something happen, that's the place to go it. Please don't come on here and be chronic about it, because if you're chronic, I do not want to pull you on the show, because most of you guys, the reason you're stuck in 2025 is what's going on up in here. So if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, just go over to freewholesaling.com. I got it scrolling there on the bottom. I'll even put it up in a bigger so you can't miss it. Where did I put it? Did I wipe it off? I could have. I put it on the ticker anyways. If anything I miss in this show, which I only have so much time, go to freewholesaling.com. I've had this course up going on close to 5 years right now. And the reason I did it, because I can't give you guys everything. But the cool part is it's 100% free, and it's got 30 years combined of wholesaling experience. And I'm going to tell you how to do wholesaling, and I don't get cute with it. I get rid of all the bells and the whistles. And the best part is I'm not selling you anything. So I have to tell you the truth. Why? Because I want to do deals with you guys. So if I can point you in the right direction to find the right deals, that's how we do it. So make sure you use the comments and go from there. So awesome. So let's jump into it. So the first thing we have to understand is the biggest problem most of you have is just right here. And I put it on the bottom of the screen. Dude, your excuses. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. I don't know. Ever since I've turned in my mid-50s, I can identify excuse from a mile away. And here's the problem with an excuse when you give it. The first time it actually seems valid. The second time you're like, man, this guy's got a lot of excuses. The third time I run, because excuses, nothing gets done with an excuse. In fact, an excuse is just a way for you to justify your procrastination, your unwillingness to do anything that is uncomfortable. And it just reassures you, tell yourself the same story over and over. And after a while, if that's your excuse, own it. You can have it. I don't want anything to do with it. You've got to get away from the excuse train. The excuse train is the number one killer of wholesalers. But it was so hard, but there's so much competition. And I'm going to give you the keywords to avoid, because the people I help the most out on the show, the people I do most of the JVs, they don't complain at all. The minute someone comes and brings me a JV deal and starts complaining, I'm done. Like, I do not waste my time, because if you're going to be this difficult up front, imagine how difficult you're going to be with the seller, the difficulty you're going to have with myself, my son, and everybody that's on my team. So first thing is, you got to understand your excuses. You are only fooling yourself. Nobody else buys it. Nobody else cares. An excuse is just 100% stall method, also known as procrastination. And if you're around people that give excuses, and you all know, you'll quickly identify them. In fact, this is one of the highest skill sets you can learn on being an entrepreneur and being a human being who wants to go to growth. Find the chronic complainers in your life and get rid of them. Now, family is a little bit of limitation there, but I'm just telling you, man, the more they complain, the less you can help them. Because an excuse is a story you've already told in your mind to make sure something comes true, that wholesaling is never going to work because my market's too saturated. I can't change your mind on that. Honestly, I don't even want to waste my effort. That's it. Just go work at the grocery store, go park cars, do whatever you want to do. And that excuse has been around since the turn of time, since 2003 and me doing it. So if you understand that, lose it, man. Your excuses are killing you. So what I want you to do is anybody who's watching this video, I don't care if you're watching it live or recorded, I want you to write down the most common excuses you give people, and you're going to start to see a pattern. And here's the craziest part is you yourself, including me, we can't recognize our own excuses. Because once you start telling one excuse, it's nonstop. There's always an excuse why something can't get done. So I'm telling you right now, if excuse is stopped you from taking action in wholesaling, you better watch this video, because I'm going to tell you, you have to unravel it. See, an excuse means the world has to fix everything around me for me to make wholesaling work. Guess what? Sorry, you're going to have to do it the other way around. You're going to have to change yourself to change how people view, greet, and transact with you in this world. But once I hear there's an excuse, it means you want the whole world to change and you are not open to learning anything. So if you know that, we all overlook the excuses. It's ridiculous. And I've worked at a lot of companies as a corporate employee and stuff like that. They got the same problem. If anything, I'll tell you it's worse there. But as a wholesaler, most of you guys are doing this on your own. I'm going to walk you through this. And you got to get out of your own way, man. Like, you've just got to stop this part of your wholesaling. Like, if you come on a live with me and you start rattling off of excuses, I'm going to hit you so direct. And I'm going to get to the truth as fast as I can with you. And if you're not willing to tell the truth, I'll easily point it out to you, because people have excuses. They never have their numbers in front of them. They don't have any type of goals. They have no marketing plan, and they randomly do whatever feels good to them. And that's not wholesaling. So in 2025, I want to show you how to break this thing apart. So make sure everybody got on here. Awesome. Okay. So if we know that, let's watch about words that create problems for us when we get started in wholesaling. I'm going to try, I could, I should, I can't, it's too saturated, Rick, it's too hard, but. So the word but is one of the most annoying ones for me. You could say the nicest sentence in the world about somebody or something, and then use the word but. It means you have to negate everything that was said before. If you have someone that gives you a lot of buts, I should, I would, I could, I don't even know what the right English language is. It just means you've already got a built-in excuse in what you're about to do. My favorite is, I'm going to try. And the problem with the word try is we've been ingrained as children is, come on, Ricky, you can try this. No, we need to get into the society where you're going to do this. And I don't care how painful it is. You just need to get it done. And it's going to make you wildly uncomfortable. And you're going to hate me while you do it. But in the end, you're going to come back and high-five me. Now, let's just break this down in the simplest format. Think about the first time somebody taught you to ride a bike. I've had the pleasure of teaching both my children. I've taught my niece and my nephew. And it doesn't matter how I got in the instructor position. I think riding a bike is one of the coolest things you can teach a child. Even an adult. There's some adults can't ride bikes. Why? They're scared to death. But here is the one thing for anyone to succeed in riding a bike. You've got to want it. If you don't want it, there ain't no teacher in the world good enough to ride your bike. But once you see all your friends riding a bike, people are having success riding your bike, then you want to ride it. And you're willing to go through pain, get your knees scraped up, fall off the bike, get humiliated, maybe even have it filmed. Everybody likes to film stuff this day. But think about the bike rider. If he or she wants it bad enough, they will go sit on a bike while an adult pushes around, knowing they're probably going to fall and crash and hurt themselves. Why do you think wholesaling is any different? In fact, you're going to fall on the bike so many times, you can pick it up, and there's going to be blood running down your elbows. I remember when I taught my niece to ride a bike, and her mother put like all this like gear on her. I go, what are you doing? She's going to have to feel it somewhat. I'm okay with like with a shin guard and a helmet, but like we are not going to bubble wrap these children. This is how you learn. So why do you think wholesaling is going to be any different than when we do this? It's the exact same. And that's what I'm here to tell you. If you have the desire to ride a bike and you know you're going to go through pain and you're going to look foolish, it's the same concept with wholesaling. It's just you're not going to get physically hurt. Your pride's going to get hurt. Your feelings will definitely get hurt. But there's only so much we can do. We got to get rid of these words on the screen, guys. I've tried, I should, I could, I would. Dude, they're words that are just going to set you up for massive failure. So if you know that excuses are one of the biggest things that's going to take you out, here's what you have to understand. If you can simply recognize your excuse train, and here's the hardest part, you don't hear what you're saying. Eventually someone's going to say, man, you come up with a lot of excuses. And usually when people hit you with that, you're like, really? You think that of me? And you got to understand, when you're always making excuses, you're activating your ego. And when you activate your ego, you can't learn anything. You have to be right. You're so busy being right, you can't learn anything. So I'm telling you, you don't even have to admit it on the show to me. If you are making excuses and people have possibly pointed out to you, you should probably listen. Because if you can stop telling yourself these stories, you can actually make progress in wholesaling. But so many of you guys, when I bring you on here, it's like, Rick, I did this, but it didn't work. I did that. Hey, dude, do you think it was any easier for me? I just kept going forward to get it done. And I wanted to quit almost every day for my first 6 months. I'm not going to lie to you, but like, I just kept showing up. So here's what we need to do. Number one, recognize it. I find that most people can't recognize their own excuse. And if you can't recognize it, ask for the person you talk to the most, and they'll tell you. They might not, maybe not, but they'll tell you just make too many excuses. I was told in my 30s I was making too many excuses, and I fought it for 2.5 years. And once I stopped doing it, I've learned the excuse is only valid inside my head. Nobody gives a crap outside of me. And once I realized that, I go, man, I'm just wasting my breath. Your excuse is just your mind being very verbal. Rick, take it easy. Go do a little Netflix. We don't have to be stressed like this. And that's what I don't want you guys to do it. So recognize it. Recognize. See if you can recognize it. If you can't recognize it, ask somebody you trust the most, someone that will tell you the truth, and say, do I make a lot of excuses? And if you do, let's fix it. You want to see how to fix it? This is the easiest part. Instead of saying words like this on your screen, saying, I don't, I can't, you're going to have to replace them. So what I like to do with people excuses is identify what your excuse is. Most of the time, your excuse is just a story you're telling yourself to keep the procrastination going. You're going to have to dig deeper. Now, if you can recognize it, I can help you pick it apart. But I don't talk to you guys every day. So let's go with a common excuse. Here's a common excuse everybody says. You can put it in the comments. See what common excuses you guys use, and let's talk about it. Because here's the most common one I get all the time. I'm not ready. Rick, I'm not ready. I'm just not ready. Dude, I've used this excuse so many times in my life. Listen, if God wanted us to be ready, we would be born with fully developed minds. So, you know, as a child, till you really don't know much till you're like 14, 15. And then they think you know it all for the next 10 years. And then that's when you can really get in trouble. So if you just say, I'm not ready, what does that mean? So when you guys say, I'm not ready, I couldn't, I can't, it's saturated. What I want to do is take that comment and you got to break it down, because this is just like working with a motivated seller. If you can't figure out in your own mind, how are you going to work with other motivated sellers? So if you go around and say, listen, I'm just not ready, then what do you think that means when people say, I'm just not ready? Like, I'm never, dude, I got married. Do you think I was ready? I had no idea. I had a baby. I had kids. I had no idea what I was doing. You're never really quite ready for anything in life, but it doesn't mean you don't want it, like bad. And if you understand that, wholesaling is going to be the same along the same lines. Now, the good thing is we do have an instructional manual at freewholesaling.com that you can learn the business, but you have to understand. People number Rick, I don't have time. So let's see. So if we're going to start with this excuse, Rick, I'm just not ready. I just got to read a little bit more into freewholesaling.com and maybe in like on a month or two. So why don't we just admit it? So if you recognize it, it just says, I'm just too scared to start right now. I would actually accept that excuse because at least you're being vulnerable and telling me what your concern is. When you say I'm not ready, it's like a BS excuse. How the hell am I supposed to deal with that? Imagine you have a kid and the nurse hands you your baby and you go, yeah, I just not ready for that yet. Can you just hold on to him for a month or two? I was in shock when I brought Zach home from the hospital. I didn't know what to do, what to feed him. Me and my wife just stared at him. To this day, I sometimes feel that way. And you guys can feel it if you have kids, but nobody's ever ready to have a kid. There's no manual for it. Wholesaling is kind of the same thing, but you can control a little bit more in a kid. Now, I'm scared to start. So now we have to shift. Once you recognize what the excuse is and what the truth is, we have to switch it up. And what we want to do is shift the excuse to the solution. Period. That's all I want you to do. Honestly, if you just do this alone in 2025, you're the only person that can stop yourself. I also want you to look and identify the people that always give you excuses. I've cut all those people out of my life. You can never get them to see the truth or see it your way. And that's not our job to be put on this earth. So stop wasting your energy. When people show you themselves and all they do is give excuses, it means they don't want to do the work, but they want to get paid. That's the truth of it. They'll never admit it. Why am I going to waste my time with them? Now, I fought those people the first 2.5, 3 years of my wholesaling career. If you guys can just do that sooner than later, you'll do a lot better. Listen for excuses and watch for patterns because they never, ever stop. I have family members like this. I have some people some realtors, I do business with them. And then I will hire another realtor just to filter out because they're so toxic. I do not have time to put that crap in my mind, nor should you. So recognize it. Either it's you or the person you're dealing with it. But we have to shift from making an excuse to solving a problem, solution oriented. How do we do that? How do we do that? So let's take this. If somebody says, I'm not ready, and we all know it's a scared, they just got to switch it up. And then what are they scared? Once they go to the true statement, it's like, what is it you're actually scared of? I just lean in. I'm scared I'm going to get rejected. Perfect. I'm going to teach you to expect a rejection, and every no you get is that much closer to a yes. That's all you got to do. But if you're going to fear every call that you put out, especially as a cold caller, why even start? It's a pain in the butt, and I don't want you to do it. So once you know you're going to shift your excuses to solution oriented, I want you to think about that. If you come on a live with me, you put a comment in here. Like, you guys are actually pretty nice on the comments. Yeah, I mean, last Thursday was crazy. But we have to understand that excuses is just the oldest form of procrastination you can possibly do. So once you switch, if you say, I don't have enough time in the day. You all know that's BS. We all got 24 hours. You just don't prioritize wholesaling. And why don't you prioritize wholesaling? There's something that's scaring the crap out of you. And until you tell the truth, nobody can help you. If you hop on a live with me and you won't tell me the truth, I can't help you either. And if you understand that, this is the biggest roadblock you guys all have coming in 2025, because I talk to you guys every day and it's the same thing. We got to help each other out. Now, once we do that, wholesaling is actually simple. If you can get past your excuses, past all this stuff, you just got to take a tremendous amount of action. But some of you guys are studying like wholesaling like it's school. Guys, this is a learn while you earn job. And the fact that you're not paying me or Zach a dime, what's your excuse? Why don't you take free wholesaling like you just paid me 10 grand? Remember, the number you pay somebody for something, the value, it's all objective. If you pay somebody 100 grand or $1 or got it for free, a lot of you associate the value of the material learning based on how much you pay someone. Now, I've hired a lot of lawyers for hundreds of thousands of dollars and lost cases, thinking that the $800 an hour lawyer was better than the $300 an hour lawyer, and I found that they weren't. See, we all have this perceived like the value of something, and once you see a number, you get hypnotized by it. Oh my God, it must be good if they're charging 10 grand. You got to stop doing that, because most of you that buy courses all come back and go through freewholesaling.com and tell me, Zach, it's so much better, and you have to understand that. So, this is the hard part right here. Going from procrastination, which is basically your excuse phase, to actually doing momentum and getting it started. Because momentum is so tiny and so granular when you start wholesaling. You're going from 0, you're trying to get to 1 mile an hour, and then you're going to try to double it to 2 miles an hour, then 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, and that takes time. And that's the biggest challenge you have to work with in wholesaling. Is everybody wants to skip momentum. They just want to be at 100 miles an hour, and they don't want to start from 0 to 99. Sorry, you're going to have to start somewhere. There's no way around it. The momentum is so slow and so painful. It's like moving a giant boulder uphill. Maybe we get the people who built the Great Pyramids for us, tell us how to do it. But I'm telling you, it is the hardest part. And if you don't understand that, because you all want like a machine just to blast it down the hill. And I'm just telling you, it's not going to go that easy. You're going to have to push. In the beginning, you're not going to get a lot of return for the action you put into it. You see, most of you are focused on the results, which is great. Results are more of a goal in wholesaling, but your first 90 to 180 days has to be completely surrounded by how much action you take and nothing else, because results will follow actions. Actions do not follow results. And if you do it in the wrong order, you're going to be wildly disappointed. I'm telling you right now, I promise you on that one. So if we know that going into it, you're never going to be 100% ready to wholesale. Just like the first time you have a kid, if you decide you're never like, there's no manual. You just got to kind of wing what your parents did. And you go, I'm never going to let this happen when you have a kid. That's what we all say, right? Till your kid comes teenagers, then they're a whole different story. But you're never going to be 100% ready. So I don't know why you guys keep trying to make everything perfect. It's not going to be. It's not designed like that. Life isn't designed like that. There's this thing called life that happens. Weird stuff happens. People get sick. People get in accidents. It's crazy. But we want to move forward. We want to take care of our families. If you've chose wholesaling, this is where we're at. This is what I want to teach you. Now, I know some of this seems basic, but I'm telling you, almost all you guys' questions whenever I work with you, between me and Zach, it's the same thing every time. I'm waiting everything to be perfect. Well, guess what? To be successful in wholesaling, especially in 2025, you're going to have to give up your short-term gratification. And I'm here to tell you, I don't even know what they call what generation X, Z, Y, or whatever. We're all guilty of it. Me too. We have this. And the problem is this short-term gratification is the market is trying to fill these orders for you. These phones, it's ridiculous. Honestly, I would prefer just to get rid of cell phones, because as much as you guys think it's awesome, it has made people where they don't want to communicate anymore. Every app on your phone is chasing your dopamine rush. You guys let complete strangers, giant corporations, trillion-dollar corporations like Apple, Microsoft, send you notifications to tell you what to do like you're a robot. And I tell you what, I only have 2 notifications on my phone. And they are like family oriented. That's it. I do not let somebody rip my day on a notification. If not, it goes to the right people. You guys, we are horrible in this society. Do you really need an update when somebody walks by your door, ring bell camera every moment? Do you really need to see who sent you that text or who followed up? You ever wonder why the most important people in the world don't have a cell phone? They all say the same thing. I do not let anybody run my time. Now, if you have kids and you have stuff like that, I'm just telling you, you could take your cell phone and you could minimize it. Like I probably get 6 phone calls while I'm on this live. I have it on silence. And I just like half the time I don't even call them back unless it's somebody I'm expecting a call from. You're going to have to give up the short-term gratification. The entire market in the entire world is chasing your short-term satisfaction. these games, everything. And don't get me wrong, I like to do it. This doom scrolling, you can get you in big trouble. It's not going to serve you. And remember, when you do it and you lose an hour or two doing it, it's short-term dopamine rushing, and you're never going to get the time back, and you can't grow anything, and you become the product instead of you creating the product. And that's the problem with anything short-term. Everything everybody wants to do in society is based on short-term. Every wholesaling course sold on you is about getting a deal in the next 7 days, 20 days, 21 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Can you do it? Absolutely. But all they are is feeding you the titles on how to get rich quick. And this is why a lot of you click into this. And this is what's going to get you in problematic area. So you have to get rid of the short-term gain philosophy. If that's all you've understood in your life, you're going to have to wake up on this one. Because if you try to do short-term gratification in wholesaling, you're going to be eaten alive. And this is predominantly what I see most new wholesalers coming out and doing that. You see, what you have to do is short-term pain for long-term gains. Nobody wants to do it anymore. Like if you want to have a physique, you are going to have to spend 6 months eating right, going to the gym, and taking care of yourself and hydrating. Or you can go in your fridge, you get your Krispy Kreme donuts, God knows they're good, and eat that. But we all know it feels so good in the short term. And then what do we do after we eat it? Go, damn, man, that's really going to put me back like 4 or 5 days. That was stupid. Now I feel bloated. I feel gassy. Wholesaling is the same thing because a lot of you guys are looking for the quick fix. I don't know. You can get a deal under contract in a day or two, and it might take you a month or two. Might take some of you guys 6 to 9 months. I ain't going any longer than that because you're doing something wrong if it takes you that long to do that for one deal. But you're going to have to forego that short-term pleasure to get that long-term gain. And here's the really cool part. That's just not in wholesaling. That's everything. But everything you're marketed to is instant. Everything's instant. Give it to me now. And if we keep operating like this, we're doomed as a society. So remember, I only teach one way to do wholesaling. You can be either a sprinter wholesaler or you can be a marathon wholesaler. I think I've earned the title marathon wholesaler after 23 years, 3,500 houses. Like it never... The count's just getting outrageous. It's actually been a very good first quarter for us. And I don't say this to impress you. I do it to impress upon you. I've always done the marathon one. I let people run laps around me. So here's the idea of a sprinter wholesaler. They look good. They do the Heisman pose. Look at all these contracts. Look at all these screenshots. And then they just disappear. And then they come up with words like, I got killed in 2021, 2022 wholesaling. Guys, I've been doing this business long enough. You do not get killed wholesaling. You only get killed speculating. You see, wholesaling is the art of minimizing your risk and maximizing your reward. So anyone who self-admits that they're a serial entrepreneur, you can't be. You can't be good at like 50 other things. Pick a field to go into it. And you'll find those sprinters, they try to run up, they try to look really good in wholesaling, and they run out of credentials because they stop doing deals. They really don't know what they're doing. And then they will usually go on to sell you courses, or they'll do some sort of money exchange, an MLM or something like that. And you can see them just go 1, 1, 1. And their whole job is just to sell people whatever they got and never create a product. And I will never do that with you. I can't help that. I don't even know how people do it. I don't even know how you sleep at night doing stuff like that. But remember, someone who looks really good in the short term in wholesaling, I would be really suspect because that is people's alter egos trying to give recognition and credibility. So here's the deal is, I tell everyone, go get 100 houses under your wings. I don't care how many years it takes you, 5, 6 years, then open your mouth. But people get one, and I'm all about celebrating the wins. I'm not telling you not to celebrating your wins, but for God's sakes, don't go out and get a coaching program when you just did 2 deals. It just means you got lucky. And I've always said, get the 5. Why? Because it shows you got guts, you got character, and you will do whatever it takes to get ahead in this business. If you can only do 1 or 2 and you can't replicate it, it means you're not resourceful, and it probably means you're not going to last in wholesaling. So I just want everybody to understand the difference between the sprinter and the marathon runner. The marathon runs his own pace, doesn't care how many people pass him because he knows he or she in the long run is going to make it all the way to the end. Sprinters, they look good for a TikTok click. They look good for a little short, and then they disappear for 7 years. And then they go, I got the biggest comeback coming. Why do you have to come back? Why don't you just stay here? Because they don't wholesale. You can't get killed wholesaling. You're going to work your butt off. But if you do it correctly, you minimize your risk and maximize your reward. That's it. That's the simple way to do it. And that's what you got to understand. So how do we do this? Going into 2025, if you ever done this, you've got to understand you're going to have to choose your discipline or it will be applied to you. And all I'm saying is you either discipline yourself to do the things you need to do to be a successful wholesaler, which we're going to go over, or society is going to discipline you for it. And what do I mean by that is if you don't have a plan, your environment's going to come up with a plan for you, and then you are going to be the lead actor in it. Or you can form your own discipline, do the marketing you should do every day, make the phone calls, send out the bandit signs, do your direct mail, whichever category you do it to get your marketing message out there, and just go dominate. If not, you're just going to sit back and wait. What are you going to wait for a realtor to call you? Oh, no, someone got me a program where I just look on MLS. So you haven't done one deal, and you think there's going to be a motivated seller on MLS waiting for you. That's off market, direct to seller that needs to sell. It's going to be the complete opposite. It's on market. You can't speak to the seller, and they only want to sell it. They don't need to sell it. Do you see how you just freaking waste your time doing stuff like that? That's the last thing I want to do. So let's keep going here because I'm trying to move out of mindset here. So let me ask you, what's the story you keep telling yourself? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't do it. I'm here to tell you this. I'll let you in a little secret. The people that make the most amount of money in this world are not the smartest, typically. There's some exceptions to it. But if I took 100 successful people that made a ton of money, I'm guaranteeing 70% of them have average IQs at best. I'm one of them, guys. I don't even know if my IQ is average. Now, I'm very good with street smarts, common sense, but people have this theory that the smartest people make the most money. No. Here, write this down. You want to understand this. Smartness almost traps you in believing in our scholastic system, our schools, and how you need to go out and get a job, a career. The people that make the most money, I've met people that can't even do a spell check. They're the ones that have the most guts. They're the ones that are okay being wildly uncomfortable and looking like a fool for up to 2 years. Those are the truly rich people in life. It has nothing to do with smartness. You can raise enough money with your marketing to hire smart people to fulfill your dream. And that's what I've been doing, like with CPAs and lawyers, all this other stuff. And they drive me nuts. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, I'm in control. And then if you make enough money and you have the guts to go out there, like going out and do wholesaling and getting your list and finding these motivated sellers and making appointments and meeting with them and helping them solve their problem and doing it over and over again, you can dig yourself out of whatever hole you want. Dude, let me tell you, I had one of the worst jobs at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I was extremely loyal. I watched all my bosses get fired. I just said one day I couldn't take it anymore. This is one of the reasons I have this channel. If I can just save one person, it's just nuts. So what is the story you keep telling yourself? Because it's that story that makes everything so true. You've got to stop the story. So remember earlier I said on this, for you to stop the story, what do you have to do? You have to recognize your excuses. Because your excuses is just that same old tired story you tell yourself. I'm not good enough. There's so much smarter than me. I already told you, smartness has nothing to do with it. I've had people imprisoned in jail wholesaling properties. What's your excuse? It is never about how smart you are. It's how much guts you have and how willing are you to be uncomfortable and do something that most people don't not have the guts to do at all. That's it. I find smart people can't get through the amount of action they have to take in any entrepreneurial role. No, that's not proper. I can't do that. it was funny. Me and Zach were looking to bring on another social media person to help us manage the largest wholesale Facebook page in the world, the largest wholesale Discord group in the world, and one of the coolest YouTube channels around that. Actually, we're the only ones that still talk about wholesaling. All the other ones are going to tell you every other strategy, but wholesaling, because they really don't do it anymore all that much. So anyways, I remember interviewing the person who was online, and what do you think the first thing I go to? Listen, if I'm going to hire you as a physical fitness expert on like my physique, I'm going to tell you to take your shirt off because you got to look better than me. That won't take much. But this was social media. And I remember saying, hey, I work for this law firm. I've really blown up their social media. I go, great, pull it up. 4 likes, 1,100 subscribers. That's your blowing it up. That's our Tuesday morning. And it just goes to show you that people just, I don't understand why people don't want to do the work. Like, did you really not think I was going to ask you about your social media credentials? If you said, like, I could have a child do that. So let me get back to where I'm getting off topic here. So what I'm saying is you're going to have to choose your discipline. And it just comes down to the same story you keep telling yourself. If you tell everyone you're the greatest social media expert, do you know how many people reach out to me and Zach for, oh, we're the expert in social media? I go, no, you're not. We are. I have the numbers to back it all up. 100%. I've written the check every day. I've shown up to work. We've done everything. Obviously, Zach has. It's phenomenal. There's very few people that could ever touch that. And there's people, all they do is monitor YouTube channels. And we look on their channels and we go, you've got 5,000 subscribers. How are you going to blow my channel up when you can't even handle your own channel? And I just think it's people just either do the work or get the hell out of the way. And I don't understand. You guys are going to have to do the same thing on it. Stop telling yourself story. I have so many people telling me how much they can do for my social media business, but they can't show me one person they've actually done it before. I just think it's funny because I'll pay you big money, but the odds are of you being better in what we already have. We've already developed it over 5 years. You should probably be consulting me, but I don't waste my time and teach other people social media. Every influencer in Wholesaling wants to learn how to be an influencer. Here's how you do it. You ready for this? Turn the camera on. Share your story, talk about deals you do, and share the wisdom and give them all the information so they can successfully go out and get a wholesale deal. And then maybe you can earn their trust and they do business back with you. I don't want to do that. I just want to get 1 million subscribers, but I don't want to do any of the work beforehand. Okay, let me know how that works out. Or my favorite is when Rick, I want to do a YouTube channel like you and your son to be wildly successful. I go, so great. Shoot 100 videos and get back to me. 100? Yeah, you think you can do it in the next 2 weeks? Never hear from them again. Nobody wants to do the work. And if we just admit it, we just want to be at the finish line when everything's perfect. That's great. But I had to wait 23 years to get my finish line, and it's still extending. Nobody even knew I existed in wholesaling to my 7th year. But everybody wants to talk about, I'm on a diet. I just lost 10 pounds. Look how good I am. If you got to lose 50 or 100 pounds, wait till you get to the 100 pounds, then share your story. Because you're going to lose your momentum. And the idea is you've got to do it for yourself. Same thing in the wholesaling. If that's what you want to do, that's what you have to do. Now, the other one I talked about, auditing your time. One of the biggest excuses, Rick, I just don't have the time. Bull. You get 24 hours just like I do. So why don't you pull up your phone if you got an iOS, an Apple phone. It will tell you how much screen time you're wasting on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Come on. How many BS phone calls you taking from your friends just going, hey, what's up? I don't take them. I schedule my time in 2-hour blocks and I do not move because at the end of the day, I got to get stuff done and I can call them in the evening or at the night or first thing in the morning. I am not a person other than my direct family, of course, and even that gets abused. Don't let people's lack of scheduling dictate yours. You have to take control of it. If you know it's your buddy from high school calling you, don't take it while you're doing business. Call him at the end of the day, send him a simple text to move on. And by the way, for God's sakes, you guys don't have to respond to every text you get. I promise you don't. Audit your time. It's a choice. Either you become the product or you create the product. You're like, well, Rick, I don't know how to use social media. That's an excuse. You can learn anything you want. God, you're watching a YouTube channel right now. You can learn anything. If I can teach you how to make $1 million wholesaling, you don't tell me you can't figure out how to turn on social media. Why would I need social media? If you want to learn how to JV with people, if you want to find like online leads, you're going to have to learn, or you're going to be victim to having to pay other people to do it for you. And they're going to make significantly more money than you do, because marketing is the name of the game. So, understand this statement: easy over effort will kill your wholesale biz. I always tell you to do the hard work up front. If it's super easy and someone's got an easy button, which is most wholesaling courses, there's a reason, because that's how they get in your pocketbook. And then when you want to go look behind the curtains and see what the product is, you're all wildly disappointed, because I hear it all the time. I've been there. The reason they can't show you the product before you get in there is because you would never buy it. The reason you have to go through a salesperson is because they have to inflame your emotions to get you to respond, to take action. And if someone's got to trick you into selling you a course, I'm telling you guys, I almost guarantee disappointment. 95% failure rate in wholesaling. And I blame the marketing 100%. It means I do it the opposite. We tell you, you got to do the hard work up front. I'm not holding your hand, and I'm going to hold you accountable. You got to hold yourself accountable in it. So, okay. Next one. Uncomfortable. This is it. Can you stay there? Because that's where most of you are in wholesaling right now in 2025. You're getting rejected. You're getting scared. You're like, is this normal? Is this how it's supposed to be going? And this is what we call the uncomfortable stage. This is where you grow into wholesaling or you get kicked out of wholesaling. Now, what's the opposite of uncomfortable? It's comfortable. And that's what most people do when they freak the F out. I'm going to go back where I know it's safe. You're never going to get anywhere on that safe little island. Your bank account's not going to get better. You're not going to create a legacy for your family. And you sure the heck are not going to get the freedom of your time to spend it with the people you most love. You're going to have to go over on the island of uncomfortable and just embrace it. And I'm telling you, it sucks. This is the short-term pain you have to go through. Think of your David Goggins moment. You're going to have to rip through this. There is no other way to do it. Does everybody understand that? Everybody calls me and go, Rick, what's the secret way to do it? I don't have a secret way. I've never had a secret way. It's called doing the work. And if you do the work, you can get anything you want in life. But if you're too scared to be rejected or someone's going to hurt your feelings, we're going to have a whole nother talk. You see, once you're uncomfortable, the key is you have to stay there. You can't retreat. Most of us retreat. I've personally retreated myself. And then you got to start it all over again. And it sucks. It's like eating good for 2 months and then just eat all the crap and just beating yourself up going, that was the stupidest thing ever. Do it. No, just reset, get back up. You're okay to have a bad day. You can't have a bad week. You can't have a bad month. You can have a bad day. You can even have a bad 3 or 4 days, but that's it. That's all you're allowed, because we don't have time for the self-pity party. It's not going to help you get this done. You see, all you have to do now is you have to go out and find your motivated sellers. Now, either you're going to have a motivated person that needs to get their house sold, got to bail Johnny out of jail. My grandma just passed away. My husband lost his job. The house is a pre-foreclosure. The tax delinquents we haven't paid in 3 years, they're going to take the house away. Can you help me get the house sold? The other one is you look for motivated houses, which is how most of you get connected with wholesaling. I don't need to go over deep on this. If the house is ugly, it's got tall grass, boarded up windows, blue tarps, knocked over mailboxes, black mold all over it, it looks terrible. Those are the houses you want to go. And for you rare lucky ones that gets a motivated person and a motivated house, it's like a home run. Now, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have 1 or 2 of those motivations. Otherwise, you're just talking to someone who wants to sell the house, and you're going to be busy. And busy means broke. So most of the time in 2025 is once you get your head right and you know exactly where to look, off-market properties, direct to seller that needs to sell, then you have to put the effort and get your excuse out of the way. Because this is the part of wholesaling that's actually just easy. I'm literally walking you through the steps. And all the details are in freewholesaling.com. So once I do that, all you have to do is you get your list, you get it through X Leads, you can go get your government list, you can put them in X Leads and you can scrub and get the skip trace numbers. It's all included in your account. At this point, You just got to pick your marketing medium. And some of you guys want to debate this for months. Do I cold call? Should I knock on the door? Should I do a reverse driving for dollars? I don't know. Just do one of them, for God's sakes. Most of you are looking for the easiest way to do it, and that's usually not the best way to pick them. Now, some of you are going to be stuck because you're restricted financially, and you're going to have to do what works. That's the part of hustling and wholesale that you have to do. And here's my little tip on it. Actually, I find the people that have less money in wholesaling, they usually do better because they're going to have to work so much harder, and they'll get much more experience, and they're much more committed. Someone who goes, I'm going to throw 5 or 10 grand and see what happens. I already know it's not going to work out. I'm going to see what happens. Are you kidding me? That's like throwing your kid in the pool and go, let me see if he can swim back up. Would you do that? No. Think about a kid when you teach them how to walk. They fall down so many times that week you teach them falling. And what do you do? Dude, he's never going to make it. This kid's got rubber knees, man. He's never going to make it. You can't do that. So if we think about a toddler, we would never give up on him. Why, when parents raise kids, they treat them like gold till they're about 12, 13. And then once they become teenagers, the kids kind of go away. And then from 18, you're basically telling you got to get out of the house, go to college, do something. I'm here to tell you, man, your kids need the most help from like 17 to 26. In my opinion, that's probably the most important parenting years for your children's life because they make such huge decisions. And if they don't have the right guidance, and God knows I didn't, they can get in trouble quick. And hopefully it won't penalize them. But I'm just telling you, if we're going to treat wholesaling like the toddler, you had it right there, you need to take wholesaling the same way. And you're just getting started. You're going to fall down. You're going to scrape your knees. But like, how bad do you want it? If you want it, just pick a marketing plan. It can be direct mail, door knocking, cold calling, SMS. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can go out networking, you can do JVs, Zach Discord, wholesaling houses for real. Me and Zach try to give you every opportunity to get your feet in the door, but I can't make you do the work. If you can't do the work, I can't help you. If you paid me 20 grand and you're not going to do any work, I just give you your 20 grand back. I don't need the 20 grand. That's why I don't take it, because I think and there's a big part of society that buys these big courses because they thought the value is there. They're so embarrassed with what they spent and what so much little they got. They just go away quietly and they never come back in wholesaling. That's the risk when you buy these big ticket courses, because you get in crowds of sometimes hundreds, if not thousands. How much detail do you think they can teach you? Like, seriously. And guys, don't get me started on one-on-one coaching. You don't need that for wholesaling. You'd be better off pairing off with somebody in here, go to Zach Discord and work together. Or if you want to submit a deal, you can go to sellmypaper.com. If you got a great deal, we'll work on it. If you don't, I'm just going to tell you the truth. Do you know there's people that actually charge you to submit a deal to them, and then they put a cap on how much you can make? I mean, you want to talk about a one-sided deal. I can't, and you guys sign up for it all the time. I had someone who goes, don't I owe you money for submitting the deal? And why are you paying me more than 10,000? I go, why, if it's a 50-50 deal, why would I cap you at 10 grand? I hope to pay you 100 grand. We just did a $33,000 check and a $48,000 check last week. Maybe I need to follow other people's rules. I could put a lot more money in my pocket. These people bring me deals all the time. Why would I discourage them? And you know what? When they go out and do it on their own, I'm just as happy for them. I hate other investors, wholesalers think they own you because they got you started. It's ridiculous. So pick your marketing plan. And remember, you can always add to it. You don't have to worry about that. Now, once you do that, you got your list, you're out marketing them. You just need to meet with sellers either on the phone or in person. And here's this. Oh my God, this is like groundbreaking. This is how you get wholesale deals. You solve their problems. You don't sell them. You guys think this is all about sales? We are not selling luxury cars. Nobody, listen to me, nobody needs a luxury car. It is purely a want. Now, we come in the real estate space and we focus on people that need to sell their house. The people that can't afford a house or just want the highest possible product possible and don't care about the price are people who want a house. We're looking for people who need trashed rentals, pre-foreclosures, probates, eviction list, code violations, tax delinquencies. The list goes on and on. Freewholesaling.com. I teach you it all there. That's it, guys. We solve their problems. And how do we solve their problems? By being very confident, answer them truthfully, and help them as a guide. And my job is to keep them on that yellow brick road. They always go left and right. Your job is to guide them. Now, if I thought I could give you some sales training and give you magic words to have everyone just melt in your hand and sign a contract over it, I'd give it to you. But here's the two things that all sellers require. And this is why me and Zach teach it this way. Number one, they want people to be authentically themselves. Everybody hates fake people. Like, I don't wear the same shirt every day. I'm just who I am. And there's only two places I really wear a suit. It's at a wedding and a funeral. It's just a sign of respect. I hate wearing a suit, but I'm my own man. I've put in 23 years into it. I've earned that right. So the last thing I want to ever do is go back and do it. But if you would just help solve their problems, and I like to use lines like this: hey, no matter what, I'm going to help you solve your problem today. That's what you do. You just help people out. And the more people you help, the more it comes back to you. And you can't buy everyone's house anyways. And honestly, if the house is upside down, do you really want to buy it? No. Let them find a realtor or someone that will help them solve it out. Maybe they get it refinanced to a loan mod, but like, come on, guys. Once we do that, then I get into the step that a lot of you guys freak out about it. And I don't know why. And you got to do go for no, because you know what? Most of you go for yes. And here's what you're doing when you go for yes. You ready for this? I'll tell you exactly what you do when you go for yes. I had this up before. If you go for the yes, you are looking, I can't find it now, of course. You're just looking for a short-term dopamine rush. That's all you want. I can get so many people to say yes. And here's how most of you have people say, yeah. You try to think in your, I go, okay, this is what Sally wants, 225. I think she wants 225. I'm going to offer her 220. And you shoot yourself in the foot. And I'm here to tell you, I learned this the hard way. I went back to a seller because he seemed so smug and smirk. I go, after it closed, I said, if I offered you $50,000 less, would you take it? He goes, you could offer me $80,000 less. I would have taken it. And hence the go for no. The go for no is uncomfortable. It's not normal. And that's why most of you freak out with it. Instead, you try to predict just like a realtor is, and you try to get a yes. That yes will give you that short-term dopamine rush. And then it's going to turn into long-term pain. If you use my go for no, not only do you reduce the stress of the transaction, you get a counter. So if you use go for no, you're most likely going to get a no, but then they're going to give you a counter and they're going to be a little pissed at you. And that's where you rebuild your rapport. And this is the second part. Authenticity is one. The next one is trust. And now you have a negotiation. You just got to work to make sure the numbers work. Without doing complicated comps and all this other stuff, you just got to use a number that you know they're going to say no to. And your job is to find a painfully low one, because the more they come to you, the more money you make as a wholesaler. The more you chase people, you're going to act like a realtor. And realtors, most of them don't make a lot of money. I think it was 75% of realtors in 2024 didn't even sell one house. There's way too many realtors. Not my problem, but it is the truth. So remember, the go for no serves two purposes. It actually three purposes. Protects you against your inexperience because you do not know what the right number is. And the best way to get a wholesale deal is to get it as low as possible. Gives you a lot more options, right? Number two, you have to understand most people stress out when you negotiate it. So just start it. And if you expect a no and you put up a no question, that puts more pressure on your seller to come up with a number and spit it out to you. Now, I do like when the seller spits the number out first, but it's not as common anymore. They're much more educated with Zillow and the values of their house. And that's what you want to do. The third thing it will do is it will increase your confidence in the long run, because you'll know you got the best price possible without double thinking about everything you do. And honestly, it's going to help you overcome a lot of your inexperiences, because you can't offer too much. The number one mistake of most wholesalers when they get to this phase, they offer too much. They get all giddy and excited. Then they call all their cash buyers to sell their contract. And the guy goes, you got it 50 grand over. What are you thinking? So which is more painful, to do the upfront go for no, or call 20 or 30 sellers and all laugh at you and tell you you got to go back and get a price reduction, or worse, you got to get out of the contract? That's what go for no protects you. I don't care who makes fun of me on it. I'm only here for the wholesale deal, period. Don't go get your real estate license. It ain't going to help you. No one's going to take you any more serious. In fact, you're going to lose out on more deals because you're going to be restricted on how you can do your marketing materials, because you got to disclose everything. Everyone you talk to, including your mother, your wife, you got to tell them every day you're a realtor. And then if there's ever an issue, you got to go in front of board of realtors, which is made up nothing but realtors and brokers. Why on earth would you think that's a great idea? Oh, well, people think I'm more legitimate now. Listen, if you got your real estate license, you did that first. I get it. My suggestion is not renew it unless you are required by law. And if you don't understand that, check with your state statutes. There's only really one place I know it's required: Illinois. Come on, guys. You guys are smarter than that. I think we've finally debunked the myth of getting your real estate license fixes everything. It's ridiculous. And if anything, I think it just confuses the crap out of people. After that, we just sell our contracts. That's it. Like, do not complicate this. Some of you guys, oh, I got to do that. Some of you guys get so messed up on contracts. If you go on the Flip with Rick channel, I walk you through 15 minutes how to do a contract step by step. I do it every year to remind you guys how simple it is. If someone like me can figure it out, you guys can definitely figure it out. So like, don't let the little things overwhelm you. And here's the best part is, you just repeat this over and over, and you're going to suck at it in the beginning. You're going to suck so bad. I guarantee you it. But if you have the stamina to stick in there and do it, and you can get the 5 deals, you can do anything you want in wholesaling. And why do I do 5? Because statistically, I've watched people get the 3. I've watched some get the 4. If you can't get the 5, it means you can't duplicate your success. And if you can't get the 5, you either have something mentally blocking your head, or you keep quitting way too soon. And either way, if it's your head or you keep telling your story, you can't do this, you're not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to waste my time with you. So you have a choice. You can pay a guru 5 or 10 grand to teach a quarter of what I teach you and go, well, that sucked. I can't do it because he or she took all my money. Or you can go over to freewholesaling.com, and I'm going to smack you upside the head and show you how to really do this business, but you're going to have to bring it. You have a 95% failure ratio when you pay someone. Why is it? Your expectations are set false, and you think the value's there without any proof of the concept. Let me ask you this. Would you pay someone like 80 grand for a nice luxury car without actually getting into it, test riding it, doing all your research on it? No, but you guys stroke money all the time like it's no big deal. And then when they don't give you the time of day, or their most popular student teaches you, you're like, I can't believe I did that. So wise up, you guys. You're getting smart. 5. Get the 5. How do I know I made it? Get the 5 because I know you suck at it up. Some of you have taken a year and a half to get the 5. Some of you guys do it in 3 months. I don't know why people, sometimes they're different markets, sometimes they're different skill sets, but I will always take the person that will out hustle anyone over talent. You all know how this works. You have the greatest basketball player in the world, but if he doesn't work as a team, they don't get what they're doing. What's the point in working with them? Give me someone who shows up to work every day and puts in the hustle and the discipline. You can do anything you want with them. So the key is, you have the past, which you all got to let your past go. Do not bring it into wholesaling because it's not going to help you at all. In fact, almost all the stuff doing your past is going to set you up for failure in wholesaling. And this is where a lot of you guys try to take your past experience in your other job and try to apply it to wholesaling. Don't even try it. It's never going to work. You don't have an HR department. You don't have a finance department. You're going to have to be so wildly resourceful. It's going to get crazy. And you have to understand that. So if you know that, I also want you to know most wholesalers quit within 90 days or less. If you guys know that going into it, just don't be one of those 90-day quitters. If I can't get at least 3 deals in 90 days, I quit. I can almost guarantee you're not going to get a deal like that. Why? Because you suck in the beginning, and you have to get through repetition. You have to get a lot of practice. You have to have a lot of opportunities. You got to 10x your opportunities. So if you know that most people quit within 90 days, you just have to employ this strategy. Just don't quit. For God's sakes, Think of the kid that's trying to walk. Think of the little girl trying to ride the bike. All they want to do is ride that bike, no matter how much pain it gets through, no matter how much they scuff their knees up trying to walk, they get through it. And those parents or the teachers who did it, they never give up on them. And then you guys put all these self-limiting doubts on yourself. It pisses me off. It's ridiculous. We have to understand it. Remember, anything that's easy now is going to create long-term pain for you. If it tastes really good, you're just tricking your taste buds and you're ruining the rest of your body. And I'm not here to rain on people's parade, but we can break this down to any aspect you want in your life. Anything you truly want is going to require pain. Sorry. I'm not talking about physical pain, just stuff that you're not used to, and you have to understand that. So let me ask you this. What sacrifice are you willing to make to get ahead? You all say you are. But honestly, like I hear some of you like, oh, I sent out, I made 200 calls and I didn't get a deal. Okay. Was that Monday or Tuesday? No, it's the last 3 months. What was your goal? How many calls you want to make a month? Well, I don't know. I don't really write that stuff down. I'm like, okay, I already know what's going on here. See, when you start out, you know it's right. And people like me have proven it, Zach, and thousands of others. But you don't really believe it until you get one to stick. And I get that. I kind of felt that when I started to. But you have to have some sort of leap of faith. Because if you go and you get rejected, which I already told you, you're going to have to embrace rejection. You go, well, I got rejected so much, maybe this isn't going to work out for me. I'm like, come on, man. Like, seriously. I already told you it's coming your way. And if you know it's coming your way, we have to get it done. Remember, all your saturation, most people are quitting in 90 days because 90 days can't figure out. Go be a doctor or a lawyer. See how many years you're going to have to give up to do that and how much money you're going to have to do it. The really cool about wholesaling is it doesn't care about your education, your background. Doesn't even care if you went to jail. As crazy as it is. It only cares about how much work you're going to put into it. How much work you're going to put into it. So, but I understand, but Rick, how do I put all this into wholesaling? How can I get it going? It's simple. It's really, really simple. I want you to understand this. Here's another one you guys all the time. Oh man, this one's a challenging one. Do it regardless of how you feel. Some days I don't feel like wholesaling either. Some days just suck. Contracts get canceled. People ghost you. Buyers flake out. Attorneys kill your dreams. But like, that's it. I can't tell you how many days when I go to the gym, I just don't want to be there. I could think of 1,000 other things I want to do. But that will only give me short-term pleasure, and it's going to give me immense long-term pain. Wholesaling is no different. You have to understand. So if you're operating any of your wholesaling business based on your own personal feelings, either fix it or get out. Because as much as wholesaling attracted you, it does not give a crap about your feelings. This is the one business where your feelings don't count. I'm sorry. They just don't. Now, if you can't handle it and you've got like problems with that, then let's just be honest. You're not probably, and not everybody can be a wholesaler, and I'm okay with that. You know how many people come up, Rick, oh, I love to do what you do as wholesaling. I go, I just know, I already know the answer. It's a hard no. You've never taken a risk one day in your life, and now you're going to take all the risk in the world? Sure. I said, go knock on 100 doors and come back. I never see him again. Rick, I want to do social media just like you and Zach did. That's fine. Shoot 100 videos and then show it to me when you get it done. 100? That could take years. No, do it in a week. Dude, you think I just turn on this camera and talk into it. I don't give a crap. I don't care. Like, I say it the way it is. What's the point? We got to stop doing this. Stop worrying about your feelings. And here's the last one. Success is not suffering. It's a strategy. So many people relate discipline to like, oh, it's like being disciplined in school. No, you implement your own discipline or life will discipline you for you. You have a choice. You can either eat right and live a longer, happy life and not wind up in the hospital, or you can eat like crap, slide down, and then wind up with all sorts of medical issues. You can be strong and you can live a nice, long, healthy life, but you're going to have to train. You're going to have to lift weights. You're going to have to go on long walks. This is how life works. If you don't do that, you'll have a short life, be stuck in a wheelchair, and you won't be doing anything past the age of 60. So I'm 55. I know the big 60 is coming. I'm going to fight it till the day I get there. And I love watching people work out in their 80s and 90s. You either use it or lose it. Same thing in wholesaling. So stop over studying all this stuff, guys, and just understanding success is a strategy. It is not about suffering. Discipline's not about suffering, but you got to get past the short-term pain. Because if everything you do is about short-term pain, you're not going to get very far. Give an example. Alcohol, short-term pain, right? Short-term pleasure, no long-term. Do you know there's not one beneficial piece of nutrition in alcohol for you? Now, I'm not here. I drank plenty in my life. I don't drink anymore. But like, you look at the little things. If we can't stop at the little things, how are we going to do the bigger things? All this processed food, you want to know why the kids are having autism. We have Alzheimer's and dementia just jacking up. Everyone's looking for the path of least resistance. And you're in the society, and you're going to have to change how you operate on that. So if you understand that, we can do that. And let us answer some questions. So I highlighted some here. Let me see. Lisa says, can I use X leads from Australia? Yeah. As long as you got internet there, that's the main thing. I get a lot of people do it. I don't know about JFK. I think he takes something. Sorry. He's got quite a physique at his age, and there's certain body parts you can naturally tell by veins and stuff. So I'm not into all this testosterone stuff, because you start messing with this stuff, you can't go off of it. And but you know how it is. What's up, Luca? So Luca understands about the empath. That's one of the skill sets I've always had as a wholesaler. It just took me 10 years to identify, because I didn't know what an empath is. An empath is just you feel other people's pain past, like we all do for our family, but like I can make a stranger, they start crying and stuff, I feel bad and want to help them out. Doesn't mean I'm a bad businessman. It just means I just want to help people out as much as I can. So, okay, let's see. Here's a good one. Mary says she's a real estate paralegal and have access to foreclosures in the States. So maybe Mary can help someone out. You guys can call Mary out and see if she's selling us anything, and we'll fix that. So, but sounds like she's a go-giver. We'll see. And as usual, Mark sees eat the frog first, which I agree with, which is how I start every morning. So I appreciate it. And what's up, Eva? I appreciate the kind comments. Remember, guys, anything that you want to learn about, anything I'm talking about today, and you want to go in much more bigger detail, just go over to freewholesaling.com. I'll put it on the bottom here. There's nothing to sell you there. I just want to teach you so you can find and identify great wholesale deals. Find someone on the stream to partner up with, or you can send it over to sellmypaper.com, which I'll put on the bottom here for a momento, and you can submit it there. I have 2 employees. That's all they do all day. They like really good deals, but they're going to tell you the truth. If it's a bad deal, you're going to know right away. I do not waste time. I don't have time to massage it. Now, here's the cool part. If you have a deal, say you've identified somebody in a probate or a pre-foreclosure, and you're not even comfortable writing the contract, submit something to sellmypaper.com, and we'll partner up with you and help you write the contract. And I might even hop on the phone with you. You can learn a lot. So we're not scared to talk to anybody. We love to do it, but we have to get the right thing. So if you're not even comfortable in that, we can help you out. I'd rather you make a bigger fee than no money at all because you got scared. So make sure you take us up on that. So, Brian, what's going on, man?
Hello. Oh, hold on. I'm on a call right now. Hey, good afternoon. How you doing? My name is Brian Martinez. I'm trying to get in touch with the Windley residents. I need to talk to you, Rick. I'm sorry. Okay, perdón. Te llamo más tarde. Yo estoy interesado en comprar casas, pero déjame llamarte más tarde. Gracias. What's going on, man? Sorry about that.
What's up, man? No, I love that you make cold calling a priority. I was just going to hop back on you, but it's okay, man. What's going on, man?
Man, a lot.
Okay.
I've been doing this for like almost 2 years now. Not a lot of success, but it's gonna come. It's gonna come. A buddy of mine showed me about wholesaling, and right now I've been wanting to get on this, and I'm glad that I'm on it because
Okay.
we're in a deal, kind of nothing signed, nothing. It's just a lead. It's more of a lead. So um, this lead is basically a bit confusing because we have tenants that are involved in the lead.
Okay.
So we spoke to the seller. He entertained the deal. He's an 80-year-old guy. So we're just kind of thinking of a plan of attack to come, with this deal. So we checked the house out and everything. The home was just a disaster. It's just a whole, I wouldn't say a tear down,
Yeah.
but it's gonna need a lot of work. So
Was it a rental house or what was it?
you mean in the past?
Yeah. How did it get so torn down? Did you just leave it vacant or did you
I,
rent it
I
out?
mean, I guess he's never stepped foot in the home, is what the tenants told me. This was yesterday when I walked through the property. And basically, yeah, he would just have people go there and do the work. But he wouldn't really step foot or really do much for it. So it's just kind of just at this moment, it's just getting worse and worse.
Okay.
So what is listed on the property record card, because it gives us the tax assessed information. The number is roughly $200,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's not going to get that. Right off the bat, he's not going to get that. So we haven't talked of a number yet. My partner, he's more of a disposition guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of the acquisition. So
What's the ARV on it, you think? Have you ran it?
no, but I can give you a guess. I would say at least roughly $80,000 to $90,000.
And but the ARV, like,
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what you probably buy it for. But is it 200 if someone got it in decent shape?
No. Oh, so what I was thinking about was repairs, but you meant after repair value.
Yeah, what's it in its best case scenario? And then tell me what the repairs are and then what you're thinking to offer on it.
So I would say, okay, repairs is 80 to 90. After repair value would at least be that number of 200,000, because the comps support this deal. You got a house, both houses next door that are just in great condition, and they were recently flipped, I think 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
So that whole area is pretty much getting, a lot of tough love and care to it, except for that one home. And, it's just devastating how those people live in that house, but,
are they paying rent actively right now?
So they pay at least $610 a month
total.
So they told me about that, and it's just everything works. Like electricity works, the plumbing works.
I got it. So who has the relationship with the owner?
I do.
And have you met him in person or just over the phone?
Yeah, I actually did. It's a small world. I did work for him 2 years ago. Before I did any wholesaling.
Yeah.
And so so I have connections with him. Yeah.
So what's the hang up? I mean, it sounds pretty straightforward.
It does. So the hang up is just, I'm simply waiting on my partner. His name is Daewon Cooper. I'm simply waiting on him to get his numbers right, because I don't really focus too much on that. However, in the future, I do. But
so you realize the most important aspect of wholesaling, obviously marketing, and you've connected with him. So how long have you been talking to him for?
I would say almost a week and a half. No, less than a week and a half.
So, and remember, here's what I want you to do. Remember the first time you made contact with him, a cold call or whatever. What did he tell you he wanted to accomplish with it? Like, what's his goal to get rid of that property?
So I didn't really ask that question, but he seemed motivated, because right off the bat, when I called him, he entertained the deal. He was like, yeah, I'll speak to the tenants, so you can go and walk through the property. So
can I ask you, is your partner the one that introduced you to wholesaling?
Yes.
And how many deals has he done? I'm not picking on him. I'm just asking.
Yeah. So, because we've done this together. So just one deal we've gotten, done, and that was last year in the summer. So
listen, I'm just going to tell you is if you're the one that's connected with them, you've gathered all this information. All I ever try to do is solve people's problems with this. I don't have any fancy way to sell them. I know my values, and you should know your numbers. Your partner can tell you, you can look it up on your own, use X leads, whatever. But you just got to go in and kind of make him a go for no offer and remind him of the problem that you're solving for him. Dude, if he's 80, let's face it, he didn't. How long is he on the house for? 10 years, 20 years?
Around that, yeah. Around that time.
He didn't sign up for this crap and he doesn't want to deal with it. Especially when I have the elderly, I hit him with a pretty low number, but I tell him everything I'm going to do for him. Not only will that, I'll take care of your tenants. I'll do this. I'll do that. We'll bring the mobile closing to you. Like, I want you to enjoy your life. One of my biggest deals I ever do is when I buy a house from problem tenants. I get older people. These kids are like bullying me. They never pay their rent on time. I just want to sell it. I don't even want to deal with them. I'm like, that's fine. We'll deal with them. I don't care. If I got to bring a cop in, a lawyer in, I'll do it. I always play nice until they cut me off. But when I have older people, I just try to be full service to them. John, what if we could get this property and buy it? I always say, what are you going to do with your time? You don't have to deal with it anymore. And you just got to find out what lights them up. And that's what I hang on them. I'm still going to hit them with a low number. You have to hit them with a low number on a property like this. You're aware of it, right? Definitely. You have no idea. You're somewhat guessing, but you're going to underguesstimate. And if it winds up being better, that's great. So you don't need to know what the exact number is. You just got to get it way below market value. And so if it's worth 200, let's say it needs 90 and repairs 100, I'm going to start in like the 60 or 70 range, period.
I was thinking like 20, 30.
Well, you can't have it too low where the guy just blows you out of the water, you know?
Okay. Got to give some wiggle room.
But listen, I will work with the tenants. I'll do everything. They might have a deposit, all that stuff. And I'll make it like, remember, we are never going to pay people the highest, but we'll be your best offer. And what does that mean? I'm going to do exactly what I tell you to do. If you get it for a low price, you can move it easily. If you get it for too high of a price, you're going to have to come back, renegotiate, or cancel it. And I'll tell you this, if you want to go through sellmypaper.com, you want to do a three-way phone call, I'm happy to help you out. Just don't let any more time go by. Just go. Someone's going to snatch this deal from you.
Definitely.
Remember, authenticity and show them trust. I'm not here to screw you over, but we do have a bit of a situation. I get it. Everybody thinks real estate's passive income. It's gotten out of control. And at 80, he shouldn't be dealing with that stuff anyways.
Right.
And that's all I usually, and I always say, hey, John, remember when we first spoke, you said, I just really like to get rid of this by the springtime because I'm wasting my time here. That's what I want to do for you. How can I make this super easy for you? And I just kind of give them their offer and I let them kind of go and I wait, see how but like, don't wait too long. You're going to wait too long. Someone like me is going to snipe in there on you, man. I wouldn't do it purposely to you, but I don't wait. Like I want to move with speed, but there's some people that and sometimes you got to give it to them and let them chew it on it for a week or two. But if you haven't given the offer, we don't even know where we stand yet. So you just got to get that over with.
And I think that the thing that my partner is waiting on is the buyers. So we do have buyers in that market, but not many people would like to buy within the market because so it's Washington, North Carolina. Yeah. It's more of a retirement, area.
I got it. Just don't wait too long. It's easy to set up perfect. And with the condition of the house, you probably have a 30-day inspection period or something like that, 15 days. You have time to do it. Like, listen, you guys want to get on the phone with buyers. I prefer you do it in advance, but like, don't wait while you have a motivated seller to find a buyer because if I could tell you how many deals, I probably lost 30, 40 deals in my first 3 years because I did that exact method. Because if he finds someone that he's waiting for an offer and he's probably a little confused why you guys haven't given it to him yet. And it's not rocket science, dude. You just go, I'm never going to go probably above 80 and I might start down at like 25, 30. That's all you got to do in there. The rest is when it gets closer, then you can bring your partner and help you out. Remember, the person is out on the ground, like, dude, for 7 years, all I did meet with homeowners fucking every day, like out of control. And I just got really good. I was like, what do you want to accomplish and how can I help you get there? And I'm always going to give you a low number and then I'm going to make you feel good by the end of it. That's all I ever do with all these deals. If I have to get close to the retail number, I have to have a buyer built in. And I did have that ability as I got better. That was after year 3 though. My first 2 years, if I didn't buy it rock low, I didn't touch it. Why? because I wasn't confident I could move it. And that's why I JV'd with everybody. And then I eventually showed them, I'm like, I don't need you anymore for a JV. Love you guys, but like, I know the real money isn't finding the deal.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I see someone said, named AV said, yeah, I got to learn my numbers. I do. I need to learn how to do that.
okay, but I want you to understand this. First of all, there's the numbers. The numbers is the house, right?
Right.
That's it. It's just a math problem. I fell asleep in math in high school. I know how to use a calculator. The real money in wholesaling is the story behind the math of the problem. That's how you'll make the most money. You're not going to make any. You still got to get to know your numbers. Don't get me wrong. If your partner wants to help you out on that, but if you buy it low enough, you can fix any problem you want. If you spend too much, do it. But if you wait too long, someone's eventually going to recognize that house and move faster than you guys are. And that's the only thing is, please don't wait any longer. Move in, try to cut a deal with the guy, and just remember, I'm going to be your best offer, not your highest. Because I'll tell them at the end, I go like, and they go, what do you mean by your best? I'm going to do exactly what I'm going to tell you I'm going to do. No games. You get the place sold and you'll be happy. If I got to get close to your number, it's going to be nothing but a shit showing games. And that's how the game's played, unfortunately. So when people like that in a house like that, if you could take care of everything, I promise you there's somebody that wants to take on that project. But remember, you got to sell them the vision. So you have to have it low enough so they can make some money off of it too, because the last thing I want you to do is be a fix and flipper.
Definitely.
And just keep going, dude. But everybody hear me. The art in wholesaling is about getting behind the story in the property. The math, you'll figure it out. Like, trust me. But like, do not delay an offer because you can't figure out the math. And I already told you, most comping, I used to say 10 minutes. I do it under 2 minutes under X leads. So why don't you find somebody here in X leads, or if you want to send a private chat, I'll run you and tell you what the wholesale number is. But remember, it can't see the repairs, so it doesn't really help you all that much.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll give you an ARV or something like that. If you want to stick it in there, I'll spit it out before the end of the show. I won't give an address, I promise.
Okay.
And if you want to work with me, you just keep making offers like that, and eventually come back and go, oh my God. I go, Brian, remember that offer you gave me 2 weeks ago? Is that still good? I'm like, I always go like this. I don't know. Like, even if I know it's good, I'm like, I don't know, man. That was 2 weeks ago. You know what's happened in 2 weeks?
A lot.
And I go, listen, if I can come over now, if you're willing to sign something, we can get a deal done today. And now I've already primed them. So remember, when a seller ever asks you for something, you have to ask for something in return. Other than that, you're just an order taker. So when they call you back on the offers they didn't take, which is what you have to do in wholesaling a lot of times, I say, John, that's great. If I come over, are we going to sign a deal today, or are we just going to like sit on the fence like you did last time? And then I'm going to go with them probably a little bit lower price because you aggravated me because I already made an offer and nobody else took you up on it. So maybe your property's worth less now. And that's the problem when they take it like that. So go out there, make the offer. Remember, he or she in wholesaling that contacts the seller, that engages them, that builds rapport and gains their trust, in my opinion, is the highest paid player in the game. And don't ever forget that. Because I got a lot of people that like to hide. I don't know your partner, but like, it's easy. Being behind the desk is easy. And so for years, I sent Zach out while I was behind the desk, and like, he's like, man, you know what it's like out there? I go, 7 years, son. Don't even tell me. Like, that's it. You just go through it because that's where the connection's made. There's no magical words. Dude, the guy needs help. And just ask him, what is it you want from me? Like, I'm taking on your problem. What can I do to solve it? And let him put it in his own words. And then you use that back against him. Why? Because he's going to tell you the problem he wants you to solve. You can't solve the problem if you don't know exactly what it is. Everybody wants to sell. Everybody wants to sell. This guy needs to sell.
One question, if you don't mind. Do you think I should meet with him in person? I think that's something that I was thinking about.
Belly to belly is much more powerful, especially with older people.
Yeah.
Much, much more powerful. And just help them out, man. Like, look at them like if they were your grandparents or your parents or something like that. And you don't have to, everybody thinks wholesalers like rip people up. We don't. All I do is solve problems. I've made some low ball offers where I had to actually give them more money because I was embarrassed. It only happened twice. I had a lady, I told you I had a lady with all these cats. I didn't want to deal with it. And I offered the family like $9,000. And then 3 months, it was like 6 months later, she came back and I met with her sister. She's like, what was that offer? And I didn't want to say it out loud because I thought she was going to slap me. I said $9,000. She goes, can you do 15? I go, yeah, it was $180,000 house, but it was so messed up. I didn't even want to deal with it. Like I wanted them to say no. And then I went back and I even talked to buyers. They're like, maybe I give you 50 or 55 for it. I'm like, oh God,
Mm.
just covered in cat piss of wild feral cats. So just go in there. Do not wait this long to make the offer. That's the one lesson you got from there, and keep going. And just, I don't know, man, I'd get you guys a list and get your partner out there pounding on people. When you first start out, you don't need somebody sitting in the office. I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. When you start doing a lot of deals like we do, I have to have a lot of people sitting in the office. It's because it's ridiculous. They keep up with the paperwork. But in the beginning, just wait till you get such a freaking problem before you bring somebody in the office. So I'm going to give you the good news, bad news to the partner. I like partners when you get excited and you get up and going and you can work on deals together. But do you have like an LLC or like any type of corporate structure with them?
Not at the moment.
Just be very careful, buddy, because this got me a lot of hot water for a lot of years. It set me way back. Just do deals as you work together. But remember, don't ever make someone your partner unless they can double your business. Because if
Definitely.
one stops working, it's worse than a divorce.
Mm.
So just kind of keep it in mind. And I've talked to multiple people on it. It's the same thing for everyone. I mean, marriage is hard enough as it is, but like shoot, just dating people is, but like on a business partner, like you got to rip money out of each other's bank accounts. So if they'll help you out and do that. But if you could seriously consider, the only partner I ever considered for my business that was legit is Zach. Every other business partner screwed me over one way or the other. Millions of dollars. Oh, I'm moving to Vegas and you can run the business and I'll keep an eye on everything on the back end. I'm like, dude, it sounds like I'm doing everything and you're getting half. And you do not want to get in that type of relationship. Okay.
So I know you, and I don't want to take up too much time or someone
Yeah.
else's time. I wanted to just say one more thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Being, you and Zach, father, son, having that relationship, being partners, what can you, what more advice can you provide for, someone like me and my partner? Because it's not just some guy that I, just met recently,
No. So here's what you do. It's like dating someone. You can renew the date every day, or you can work on a piece of a wholesale deal. And if it doesn't work out, there's a plan to exit. But I tell you what, I took in multiple business partners and they wound up being sprinter wholesalers. And I found out the hard way. And one cost me $500,000 to cash them out. The other one, I gave them 3 clear and free properties. So I don't know about you, but that's painful to me. That's worse than any
I don't know what
divorce.
that's like. I don't know what that's like,
Sucks.
but hearing it from you, I mean,
Yeah, I know, because the problem is life changes for everybody.
definitely.
And now, and I'll tell you, working with families sometimes is even harder. Like, but
How do you manage that?
well, so there's a lot of guys don't know. My wife worked in my business when I got started, and I retired her as a school teacher, and she would help me out with everything. And I found like quickly I couldn't fire her. Like, you don't fire your wife. You don't fire.
Right.
It's like, and I'm just like, I said, she goes, I mean, I don't like doing this part of the business. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff I don't like, but like it has to be done. We got to pay the bills. We got to do the accounting. And then, so I slowly unwound that over time. And that was a big mistake of mine because I found out she would do anything to help the family, but she didn't want to do it forever. And then when my son started asking about wholesaling, he just, I never shoved it down his mouth because I'm going to be honest with you, like all parents want their kids to be, like have no problems in life. And I've embraced the fact you need to have your kids steer right into the problems because that's how they learn in life. So when Zach came, he goes, hey, I want to do it. He read a couple books, asked me some questions. And he goes, Dad, you've spent so much time with me. I would be a fool not to consider what you do. I don't even quite know what you do. He goes, all you ever do is have time for me. I go, well, I learned the hard way through my dad. My dad was gone when I was 12. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, I was brutally hard on him. So he was doing wrestling tournaments at the time. And I said, why don't you do these bandit signs? I don't really use them anymore. You're going to have to buy them. I made him buy them with his own money. And he would go out in wrestling tournaments, stick signs all around. I knew they were good areas. And he'd answer the phone calls and he would run out in between matches and go talk to people. He's like, Dad, I need you to come over and help me sign a contract. And he thought he knew it all, like any 16, 17-year-old kid. And then he went through some pain. And then he goes, Dad, can you just help me talk to people? And then we'd sit down and role play for hours. He goes, oh, I see why you do that now. And so he would use it when he get a call in. And then he really attacked the code violation list, and then he got a full ride scholarship to University of Florida and decided to recruit his entire dorm to do cold calling. And the kid just hit it out of the park. Like,
Wow.
we were doing 15, 20 deals a month. I was like, I had to have a staff at the office. And he's like, you know what? I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. I go, what's that? He goes, I'm going to do exactly what we do. He goes, I'm going to be your partner. I go, you know what I told my son? This is painful. You're going to have to earn your way in. I ain't giving you anything. Like, and that's it. I never bought my kids cars. I can easily afford it. I never paid for their college education, could easily afford it. I showed them to go out how to get free money in it and get it done. And that's the key is we got to stop giving everybody everything. And I told my wife, I go, either he's going to hit it out of the park with wholesaling or he's going to hate his father. I was willing to take that risk. I always make it right with my kids. My daughter went on the medical field. She did it that way. And that's just how life goes. So like one of the things is when my son got into wrestling's a pain in the ass sport, man. You're out there all by yourself. Your girlfriend's boyfriend, whatever you are, is looking at you. Your coaches are looking at you. Your parents are looking at you. And you can think you're so tough and you'll get a guy out there that will school you and embarrass you. And I remember telling Zach, wholesaling is just like wrestling. There is no substitute for it. It's the exact same thing. You're going to feel all alone. It's going to feel awkward. You're going to feel like an idiot. But when you get those big checks cashed, it will reinforce it and you'll get it through it. And he ripped through 7 deals pretty fast. Now, I did help him on the first few because he couldn't even sign them. And then he developed a pattern and he figured out. And once he mastered one thing, he did bandit signs, then he did cold calling. And then when he came back in the business to the SMS, it was literally out of control. I was like,
so what caught my interest from that testimony there of Zach is how he was able to, have his roommates or whatnot be cold callers and all that. How was it? Maybe I have to ask him this.
Yeah, you can ask him, but he just, Zach's good at recruiting people to do things. And he's always had that. Yeah, he's always had that skill. And I'm just like, and then once he goes, Dad, we're going to do the social media thing. I go, well, listen, I got the wisdom. I go, but you're going to have to connect with the kids. And then it just kind of worked out. Is everything always perfect for us? No, man, we get in arguments all the time, man. Like we sometimes wrestle it off, but like, and then we work out together at least once a week. And like, the idea is we have to teach anybody you work with, your kids, your family, we got to stop telling people what to do. You just lead them. And how do you lead them? You just go out and show them how you talk to people, show them what the result is and how you can duplicate it over and over. I never said it was going to be easy to him. He's just like, and my wife's just like, man, you're like, I thought he wanted to be a lawyer. I go, how much is you know what the average lawyer makes in the United States? It's under $100,000. Like most of them don't make a lot of money because they don't know how to run a business. Mm. And so he just embraced it. And then he says, Dad, we got to go like virtual because like there's only so many deals we can do in Florida. And that's when I go, man, you're going to give me a heart attack. But now I could never operate my business without him because he pushes the envelope harder than anyone else like I've ever met. Everyone tries to figure out what we do off social media. And remember, the master of all skills in wholesaling is marketing. I learned how to market, find motivated sellers. We got really good at it. And then we said, let's use social media so we can draw leads. We'll teach people. It'll be very satisfying because everybody screws everybody in wholesaling over. We'll just give everything away for free and we'll do thousands of JV deals. And that's what we do now. We do our local, we do our virtual, and we do JV deals with you guys. And it's absolutely wonderful. So go get that contract, man. You got it.
I definitely will. And then, I'm not going to wait on it anymore, man.
Just wait, get it over with because you're going to get a result one way or the other and you're going to learn something or you're going to get a deal. But remember, just help the guy solve the problem and find out what he wants first before you give him the solution. Then you go in the go for no and you just tie it all together. And that's where I usually put the arm around me and go, dude, you got to enjoy life right now. So, I always try to hang on their family because somebody has to care for the man out there. 80 years old. He's been through a lot. He's been through a lot of stuff. You got to honor him, help him out. Okay.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. See you.
Yes, sir. See you.
Okay. So Jason offered to help Brian out with Exleys if you want to do that. And Jason, I see your question on here, but I don't have time to take it. Do not do the Tony Robbins business course. It will teach you zero about wholesaling. They don't know how to do it. They understand the concept, but Listen, when you get into a course for general business mastery, it's for people that have never, ever taken any type of business. So, um, unfortunately, I've known a lot of people through that course. It's kind of the same result. So it's just the truth on it. So you guys got to understand that. If you guys want to get X leads, I put it on the bottom here. Check it out. We got some cool things coming up very shortly, and we're trying to keep the price the same. So make sure you check that out. And as usual, if you enjoyed this live stream, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, and I'll also be on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I appreciate you guys. I'll see you later.